Welcome to our kitchen area. In this video, we're going to show you how or how not to decide on the final layout of your van. We're Naick and Kim, a couple from Belgium who recently took our first step towards full-time van life when we bought a van. Over the next few weeks, we will convert our 2018 Ford Transit into a camper van fit to tour Europe. After tackling installation in the previous video, today we'll be sharing our layout plan as we try to figure out if that layout can actually be put into practice.
Good morning, welcome to another day of van building. Well, today we're not going to be building much.
Today we're thinking.
We're going to be thinking. Now that we have put in our floorboard, most of our insulation, except for where the windows come. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. We already put in an electric cable or 2 or 3, so we still need to continue that. But before we do that, we need to finalize our van layout. Of course, we have thought about our van layout, and we had come up with a plan prior to, well, buying the van actually. So we knew like the size of this van and what could fit in it. But of course, there's still some decisions to be made, because there are some practical stuff you run into always when you buy a van. There's the measurements, the theoretical measurements of the van, but then you have some bits and points that don't go straight or stick out, which might change your plans a little bit.
Metal bars that go where you would not expect them, or when even logic would not expect them to go.
Yes,
so today is going to be figuring that out, because we're now at a point where we're not so far along in our build that we've done like a ton of stuff, but it's also getting more difficult to proceed to new phases of our build if we don't finalize our layout first.
Yeah,
so
it's more going to be fine-tuning, but we're going to take you through the process of how we determine our layout, and maybe also some things you need to take into consideration when you choose a layout for your van. So
go.
Oh, this isn't nice. So to start off, we're going to measure our van to know what kind of measurements we're working with. This is Ford L4H3 as it's called in Europe. I think in the US it's called long wheelbase extended and
extended roof as well.
And then high roof, I think it's called. This is the biggest version they make for Transit, and it's almost practically the biggest van they make. Mercedes has one van that is a little bit longer even, but for the rest this is the biggest one. This floor is about 4 meters and 12 centimeters long. So it's about 2 Naicks and a little bit long. See? You can fit a little bit of a little piece of Naick, but that's about it. What do you say? Yeah. So for practical purposes, the inside is about 1.74 meters wide at its most usable width, and there are some restrictions even with that, which we're gonna come back to later. And it's about, it's less than one standard Naick size, so we cannot put our bed sideways, which will be an important thing for our layout.
And then coming to the reason why we bought this van in particular is because this Ford Transit extended, heightened, high roof, I don't know what it's called, is one of the only ones that can actually fit Naick. He's too tall. Yes. So this right now is, we have about, until that metal bar.
After putting in the floor, and it's about 2 meters and 1 centimeters. So the floor and the insulation took about, I think, 2-3 centimeters.
Yeah.
So it was about 2 meters and 4, now it's 2 meters and 1, which is
Naick friendly, I would say.
Still, I'll need to put in the roof slats, but come up with a way to put that in without losing too much centimeters. Be like this, and then this part will be
for movement. So two of the first things you have to decide when you're thinking of what your van layout is going to be like is what to do with the bed. Are you going to have a fixed bed? Are you going to have to somehow convert something into a bed? Where are you going to put it? And on the other hand, the second thing also, will you have a shower? And will that be like a proper shower cabin, a small bathroom that will also fit a door and a toilet? Or will it somehow convert again into a shower? Because van stuff has a lot of stuff converting into other things because of the lack of space, because it's a tiny house and you need to maximize your use of space. For the bed, we are going to work with a small dinette corner, well actually quite a large dinette corner. That'll be a seating area / working / eating area by day and converting into a bed by night. So if this little piece of cardboard were to be our van, this would be about 173, this should be about 412. It's not perfectly straight. I think our van is more straight, and we also don't have this little trap door that's in the cardboard here.
If you go through here, Bam!
At least
Gone.
I need to draw on that.
Access to the basement.
At least we haven't found the trapdoor yet. So roughly, I think this will be the dinette corner. So this should be 1.90 meters because the bed has to fit, Naick. That is basically going to be coming from about here. Gonna start here. Should be like this. Then we make a little U bend so we have an extra spot to sit right here. And then we move around all the way again until here. There is also going to be a table, roughly like this, which at night you can lower onto the same level as the benches, as the dinette, and then you use the cushions in the back of the dinette to create a mattress and you sleep on top of that. That is one of the most popular options, I think, to create a bed inside a van. The other one is to have a garage bed.
The garage bed or the platform bed is quite different from what we are doing. It's actually a bed that is fixed in place. Like, for example, you make it at this height or at this height, or even up here if you want to. It's actually fixed in place. It doesn't convert into anything. It can only be used as a bed. And the reason why a lot of people use it and why it's very handy is that it creates a lot of storage space. Let's say you would put your bed here, then all of this underneath your bed would be storage space. You would basically create a garage here at the back of your van.
People often put bikes and stuff in there, so you can pretty much put anything in there.
So people who are a lot into adventure or into sports and all that stuff, who have snowboards, mountain bikes, whatever kind of adventure gear that takes up a lot of space, they can put it in here. We did not choose this option because we spend a lot of hours and time editing our videos, and we wanted to have a proper place to edit our videos, like a nice working area, which is why we chose the convertible bed instead of the platform bed, because it gives us a nice big table to work on. These are the two, I would say, classical layouts that people use in their van. There's a bunch more options, of course. You can get as creative if you want. So when I wake up in the morning after sleeping, I'm hungry, I need food, we need a kitchen, which is what most of the rest of the van will go to actually. Here we have the bed, so that's the back doors. Here's the sliding door here. Right about here is starts the cockpit. So we have about 2 meters and 20 left. So we will be building part of the kitchen here, about 60-70 centimeters wide. Then we will be building a shower and closet area. We have decided to go with a shower.
Those are going to be two separate spaces, by the way. It's not going to be shower / closet.
No, indeed, but it will be like one big thing. We have decided to go with a fixed shower area and toilet area inside our van. It was kind of a big decision and a difficult decision to make. Honestly, we would have preferred not to have one because it just takes up a lot of space and real estate in your van. It's like a big monster here in the corner, but we figured we need it because of COVID-19 and everything that's going on in the world. We want to be self-sufficient, so we're going to put lots of electrical stuff in here. We're going to have some water, we're going to have our own toilet and our own inside shower, because when we'll be leaving in the winter time, we'll start here in Europe, it will be unfortunately quite cold. So this area will be closet space, partially I think about 50-60 centimeters. So we would have about 1 meter left for our shower area. We want to make it as small as possible. It will be a little bit cramped and not super comfortable, but to be honest, we don't care that much. I mean, how much time do you spend in the shower?
And obviously one other important decision we're gonna have to be making today is how we're gonna get the trap door into the shower. That's not gonna be easy. The question is also, where is the trap door going to lead when people go down there?
We could just make a hole in the van and then make a staircase to our basement.
Our plumbing is gonna be simple.
Staircase to our basement, and we can put a jacuzzi there.
There's a big...
And then on this side, there will be the bigger kitchen area. It will be about 1 meter 20 wide. So from here till about here, if I'm not mistaken.
It's gonna be partially still in front of the sliding door, just a little bit, because I mean this door is super wide. We don't need all that space.
Probably 1 meter 50, 1 meter 60, which is huge. And it will also be nice, like, to be able to cook right here and look outside. Of course, I cannot really look outside that much. At least if I stand a bit like this, I can watch in that direction.
Also, what we're gonna be having is some upper cabinets above the dinette area and obviously also above the kitchen insulation counters. They're not going to be very deep because we don't want them to take up too much literally head space inside the van, but they are going to allow us to have a lot more of additional storage so that we also, especially so that Naick also doesn't bump into them whenever he tries to get up out of our little seating
otherwise
area.
I will be having to wear a helmet and have to patch myself up all the time. Not really good.
Yeah, no. In order to be able to measure stuff out in a way that is useful, we're first going to be putting in a little bit of the side paneling.
Yep.
This beautiful wooden side paneling that we have. These are tongue and groove panels. They're light colored wood, but we're gonna paint over them. We're gonna paint them in white so that we have a lot of white in this space. Also, if you're looking at this van right about now and being like, what type of dark hole are you people gonna live in? Not to worry, that's because of all the insulation that makes it just look super dark, and also because we don't have any windows yet. But anyway, we're first gonna put in one of the panels because that's also further gonna restrict the amount of space that we have in terms of the width of the van, and then we'll know what it is exactly that we have to work with here, and we can start measuring stuff out.
Alright, lesson number 1. If you start with putting in your paneling, start with the restricted side first and not the other one, because now it won't fit anymore.
Oh, you already screwed it down. Oh no. Live and learn, people, live and learn. The fact that we sort of broke it also is not so bad because this is just one of the test panels. But it'll do. Like for the space. Also, whilst I'm showing you stuff that we bought, I'm gonna show you the floor because we just got it yesterday. Where is the floor?
Over there.
Aha! Oh, it's quite heavy. Oh. So this is a glue down vinyl floor that's made to look like laminate. Look at that. Ooh. As you can see, it's quite flexible, which is one of the reasons why it apparently should be pretty good to put in a van. And that is sort of what it will look like. I love this look actually. Have you seen this?
Oh wow, it looks nice. We'd only seen it in the shop, but now we see it here. Wow. Looks even a little bit warmer than
we thought it was,
in the shop. Really nice. This is really good high quality stuff, so it'll probably last us for years. Probably the inside won't last for years, but anyway, it's very thin, so we're not losing additional headspace. It's only about 2.5 millimeters thick, if I'm not mistaken, so it will be really nice just to lose a little space. And wait.
Make yourself at home, sir. Obviously, it's not glued down yet. It's not gonna move around as much once we glued it down. How does it feel?
Comfy.
We're hoping to put that in either at the end of this video or in the next one. That's gonna be so nice and make it look a lot more like a home.
So these red stripes, red tapes will be the bed area. And Tim is using some boxes.
Ow! That hurt.
So this is roughly what the bed area will be like. Well, it will be until here, and then in the end there will be some part as well.
I think this is enough for us to sit across each other, you know, like the leg space in the middle.
Yeah, I think
Although
so.
you do have really long legs. If you're gonna sit... Did not see this coming. Oh, this is one of the prop boxes, dude!
This bench is broken. Should have made it more solid.
Can you believe that out of the two of us, he's the one who actually knows what he's doing? Isn't that scary?
Just repairing my cardboard bench.
I don't think this is gonna work out. Oh, we have to test this out because your feet are big. Like you and I can't sit across from each other here. Your feet will block all the space my feet should. That's true. That is actually true. Get rid of the boxes, please.
you're in the closet in the bed frame at your feet.
I mean,
yeah, this.
It's not ideal, is it?
No, it's not. At the moment our bench is quite deep. I measured 55 centimeters. It's quite a lot, and we just use it as a reference to start from. But now that we see it, I mean, it's really a lot. And then maybe we can move this one a little bit because there's some wooden blocks here because it was easier to mount. But it's also a centimeter on each side.
It pains me to admit this, but if you saw the previous video, you may remember that I only ever so gently pressed Naick into putting like the wooden slats now.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, maybe...
It's not a good idea because there will be many changes. And he's like, no, we need to put it now. But
But
anyway.
if we hadn't put them now, we wouldn't have measured it. Like, we would have had to do it today
Yep.
to properly measure. But now we need to remove just a little bit of the thickness of the slat. Otherwise, we're going to lose living space and sitting space. And
Let's do that.
that right there is a centimeter. Do that on the other side, and our feet almost won't touch when we sit.
Hey, look at this.
That's pretty
This
good.
is what way better.
So that is our kitchen cabinet.
It's a little bit tall. It will be slightly shorter, but I mean, the box, what it is.
This should be a little bit further. This should be 120 centimeters.
There's a bit of a problem because our fridge is about 58 centimeters deep, and we were thinking about placing it here because over there you have the wheel well, and wheel wells and fridges don't mix well together. They're arch enemies.
You don't want your fridge to be completely slanted because it's on the wheel well.
Yeah, and when you open it, your beer falls out. I mean, screaming ensues. Anyway, so we're thinking about putting it here, but then we discovered
There's this big metal bar disturbing our plan. So we're gonna lose like 2 or 3 more centimeters if we put the fridge here.
it's about 4 centimeters. So if you put the fridge and then 4 centimeters, we're gonna have to make a kitchen tablet of 62, probably a bit more. Which I mean, in a van, it's just too much. I mean, in a kitchen, maybe you can do it. So yeah, we're still thinking a little bit about how to do it. I think the fridge will fit just in between the wheel well and this nice little metal bar. There will also be kitchen countertop from here approximately till here, but this will be actually determined by the size of the shower. So we have to fit the shower or size the shower first, and just the rest that remains will be kitchen cabinet. This area will have to do 2 things, like there will be 2 functions, 1 shower area and toilet area, so I need to be able to have a pool in here and shower myself. So now it's about 90 centimeters wide and about 60 centimeters deep. It's not super spacious, but I still have some room for my legs here when I'm having a nice little moment to myself here on the toilet.
This to me feels fine. Like in terms of how much space we have to move around here, this feels pretty fine.
Yeah, we have about 57 centimeters here, which is I think comfortable, but here
Where we have the shower that's obviously a little bit wider than the cabinets on this side, we only have
50 centimeters, maybe a bit less. I mean, it doesn't feel very comfortable, so maybe we're thinking maybe just leaving out the tall closet and then just making that additional counter space, which means we would have like 1.20 meters on this side, 1.20 meters on this side, big kitchen area, nice countertop space as well. And then we could move the fridge from this side to that side because this is already the wider side with the shower, and we could make this one a little bit less deep, like 5 centimeters, which would give us quite a bit more room. And I think moving this out, like the big closet, making it just low closet, would give a lot of additional feeling of like having space.
I have to show you something super cool. Welcome to our kitchen. This is where our stovetop is going to be. It is going to be just around here somewhere. And then this is all going to be countertop space. We took this little wooden piece of plank that we had lying around, and we put it here at the precise height. This is what it's going to be like. So this is going to be the kitchen countertop. This is going to be where the shower starts, and I so love the fact that we freed up all of this space that was essentially going to be for the vault and like another closet that was going to be up to the ceiling, reach all the way up to the ceiling. We freed that up and now we have a lot more counter space here. I just love it. Like, this is my first coffee in our kitchen. Can you believe it? Isn't this amazing? I mean, just putting this plank up here makes such a huge difference.
I'm very, very happy with the layout that we've got now.
This is the first time we've been in the van and I can imagine what it's gonna be like, because this is gonna be like the kitchen area. I mean, look at this. It looks real. I love it. It's gonna be so nice. That is Naick's "it's time to get back to work" face. I'm gonna finish my coffee and then we're gonna get cracking again. Knife.
After determining our layout, we now know where our fridge will come and other points that we need electricity, like USB plugs or lights and all that stuff. And I'm now doing the electricity. I'm currently involved in some kind of spaghetti scheme here with wires and tubing and more small wires and thick wires and then thicker wires. I have some experience with doing electricity at home for our apartment, but when you do it in a van, there's a lot of 12 volts included, and that's, yeah, sometimes some things are really different from when you're doing the normal 230 volts that we have in Belgium, or 110 volts when you are in the US. A little bit more complicated in some regards, but trying to do my best here. We are by no means experts on electricity. I have some very limited experience with electricity, but I did a lot of research and searched how to do it so I can make a video about it, one of our next videos. Luckily, I have some friends and family members who are electricians, so if I really need some help with things I don't understand or don't know how to do, I can always ask them. And you just need to make sure that you know what you're doing before you start this, because it can be quite dangerous. Risk of electrocution, risk of starting a fire, or just ruining a bunch of stuff in your van. So if you have no idea what you're doing, don't touch it. The idea is to run this cable, which is a 2.5mm cable, which is the standard cable I use for most applications in the van. Run it through this piece of tubing. This is just empty tubing with a piece of metal wire. It's run through and through, so you can attach it to your electricity cable and then just pull it through on the other end. And when you've run your wire, important, tape it up, mark it up with some tape and write on it on both ends where it is supposed to be, because there's going to be a bunch of cables running everywhere, so you still know what you're doing. And then I also tape it to the tubing so I cannot accidentally pull it back into the tubing when I stumble on it or when I fall on it or when I'm hooking something up on the other side, because that would be a pain in the ass, just cable going in there. You might not be able to get it back, so tape it up with a label and then just tape it up so you cannot lose it.
You can push it so that you can just trying to squeeze this cable through here, all the way down here, and in a minute or so it should be coming out right here. These cables are no match for me. I think I've got it.
Dr. Kim, electrical doctor.
The whiz. Oh, look at this. I was literally pulling this. I could feel it. I was like, where is the rest of it? Coming all the way from up there.
And all the way from over there, like this, and then like this.
The problem is that you can't feel it. You can't touch it. You can't pull it anywhere through here.
Time for some luxury.
Ooh. We're
What's
gonna
this,
put
Kim?
some premium stuff into this van as well. We're saving our money on some stuff in order to get in a few luxuries that we weren't initially accounting /
This is
budgeting
floor
for.
heating, electrical floor heating. It's super thin. It's less than 1 millimeter thin. At least here it is. Here's a little bit thicker because there's some wires, which is why we had to scrape a bit off the floor here. I used the axe grinder and the chisel and the file just to Frankenstein this a little bit to make sure the floor isn't wobbly, because the wires are running under here as well a little bit. So this is underfloor heating. It will be beneath our floor. It's about 100 watts for one of these. These are 2 meters long. Our van is 4 meters and a bit, so we're gonna put in 2. Gonna keep our toast nice and toasty because I don't like cold feet.
2 of them are gonna run all the way from here to the back of the van, across the aisle. They're not strong enough to properly keep us warm. We're putting in a separate diesel heater for
this
that.
is just to keep our feet warm, just to drive away the cold from the floor. We insulate the floor, put a piece of wood, then we're going to put on the floor heating, and then to that we're going to glue the vinyl flooring, which we already have, which we're also going to do today. We're really excited because now it's going to slowly starting to look a little bit like a home. Now it's still a van with pieces of black rubber glued to the sides. It even looks a bit more weirder than a normal van.
Alright, the heating elements are in. Now just cleaning off the glue off of the sides here so that there are no big dollops of glue remaining. And then we're gonna put in our beautiful floor with like a laminate wooden look. We have just 1 pack and it's all laid out here. Do you think it's gonna be enough?
It will be enough till like the last centimeter probably, or
I'm gonna have to use every bit of
or
it.
maybe just 5 centimeters too short. But then we'll have to come up with a good solution. Let's find out. Really excited. Really excited. It's starting to look like a...
We're gonna vacuum it a little bit, clean it out a little bit so that there's no dust or stuff, so that we can properly glue it down, and then it's gonna look a lot more like a little tiny house instead of just a van.
Yeah, and the next video we'll show you the result after it's dried up, and hopefully it will be straight as a bat.
And hopefully it will be enough. Because it would suck if for a few centimeters we would have to order another batch.
Yeah. And next video we're going to start building our bed and our cabinetry and all
We're
that
gonna start
stuff.
building stuff.
Really happy about that.
So tune in for the next one. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to our channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.